You know what I'm saying? We live. Everybody, welcome to the Kickback Podcast. This is episode 161. I got Miss LaDonna Sherwood on there. You spoke real great today. I seen you on there. And we gonna talk about all that and stuff like that. But I'm happy to have you on the show. Why don't you let the people know who you are since we getting started?
Well, I'm LaDonna Sherwood. I'm really not anybody in particular, but I
Oh.
am somebody that cares about Beaumont. I am the precinct chair for Precinct 23 Democrats. Y'all know 23 means a lot to a bunch of people, so let's get that straight right now.
Hmm.
And that is the highest voting precinct in Jefferson County, Precinct 23. And I pride myself on that. I am the former Jefferson County Democratic Party treasurer and currently just a small business owner and concerned citizen. So oftentimes when you see me, I'm not operating in any capacity. I'm just operating in the capacity of I'm worried about us.
Hmm.
Precinct 23 is in the north end. For those of you that don't know, while I grew up on the Pale Orchard side, I currently reside and have been in Precinct 23 for the last 13 years. So Precinct 23 is the highest voting precinct in Jefferson County. So when I go to things with the city, with like the state rep or people that are voting, I always let them know that my voters turn out in Precinct 23, mostly because they are informed voters. Because I'm gonna call you, because I'm gonna text you, because I'm gonna be at your front door.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of what we do in Precinct 23, but nobody in particular, just somebody that's concerned about Beaumont.
Yep. Damn, man. I had to put somebody I had to put somebody on the block list quick. I don't know who that guy was. I think
What?
I know
Why
who
you blocked him? What happened?
because he already started off with y'all should stop killing each other. I don't know who that was. So I was
Baby,
like,
we not killing each other, baby. We trying to live.
it's too late. I already put him on the block list. I wasn't even finna
Baby,
start off
we
like that.
trying to live and we trying to help other people to live. That is not
Exactly,
the
man.
objective, and particularly not in the North End. That's where I'm at. And
Hmm.
particularly not the message that we want to send, and particularly not the topic that we here to represent today.
Hmm.
We're just trying to figure out what we can do and how we can help, how we can assist, what we can do to support, and how we can make Beaumont better. The end. I don't care who the person is or what's going on.
Oh yeah, I'm
I
gonna have
don't
to.
want people to misconstrue that. This is about us. This is not about who know who represent for who's
Exactly.
black, who's white, who's this, who's that. I'm not here for none of that tonight.
Hmm.
Oh,
Yeah, and that's why I blocked him. My block game is just so fast. I don't even think. I just boom. If I don't like it, it just you know what I'm saying. And I seen this guy comment doing the live feed when they was doing the when y'all was at the council meeting and stuff like that. And I seen him and he was saying some pretty wild things. And to be honest with you, I went to his page and I'm like, damn, I'm friends with this guy, but I don't even know how I'm friends with him because he don't even have pictures up and all that. So I might have to inbox him after this show and check his temperature and see what's good and see who this guy really is and stuff like that. So how did you feel about the decision that was made from the city council? How do you
I'm
feel?
super excited about the decision that was made from City Council. And
Okay.
let me tell you why. They didn't make a decision. And I think no decision at this point is better than any decision, particularly because my speech, if you watched me at council, was about what's best for Beaumont. I don't care if they from Beaumont or not from Beaumont. I care about what's best for Beaumont. And that
Mhm.
means whoever the best of the best is, whoever's the most qualified, the most articulate, the most progressive, the most innovative, the most or what we need, that's what I'm worried about.
Mhm.
I'm not interested in if they spent 30 years here. I'm not interested in if they spent no years here. I'm more concerned about what we could do to improve and better and build Beaumont. Like
Mhm.
for me, I think a lot of people were involved in we need to get somebody that's from Beaumont, that understands Beaumont, that's been in Beaumont, that did this and that. I'm not here for any of that. I
Yes.
don't want to be misconstrued. I don't want to be misrepresented. I'm only concerned about what we need and what we want going forward and what the narrative should be. If you
Yeah.
coming into the office
Hmm.
with a cloud and baggage and other, while we could start from scratch, the objective is we're getting ready to get a new police chief. Do we want somebody that we know, that we've been in contact with that we've have history with, or do we want somebody that perhaps we don't know that's coming in with a new perspective? Or like, what are we looking for? And I just asked the council today to be found on the right side of history. I
Hmm.
don't care if they from Beaumont or they not from Beaumont. I'm worried about getting the best of the best. How
Yeah.
can we do that? And if we're not doing that, then I told them to scrap the whole group and start over from scratch. And
Hmm.
it kind of sounds like they went with my, hey, I mean, believe it or
Yeah.
not, I
Yeah.
mean, me being who I am, I think they may have to start over from scratch. And I'm okay with starting over from scratch as long as we're getting the best of the best.
Yeah. And to be honest with you, is the guy, is he from Beaumont? Is he actually from Beaumont?
Um, Well, that remains a question that remains to be answered. I think he's a Vidorian. Oh no, no, I'm lying.
Okay.
Lumberton. I'm lying.
I know he lives in Lumberton, but and that's why I say somebody who understands the city. Does he truly really understand the city? Because like I said, if you're not from here, I don't think just because you come and work out here that you really truly grasp to understand the city or the people that
And
live
I
in the
think if
community.
that's being true, then we gotta be true too. If he doesn't live and work in Beaumont, I mean he doesn't live in Beaumont, it's not from Beaumont, then that's just like all the other people that's on being candidates. They don't live in Beaumont either. How can you, oh, well, he been in Beaumont for 33 years, but you don't live in Beaumont. You're not making that your home. That's not where you execute your taxes. I mean, I guess that's kind of like the other candidates. So if we're going to look at them all like outsiders, then we
Mhm.
got to look at them all like outsiders. If we're going to pretend that some of them are insiders or outsiders, or, I mean, we can't be flip flopping either. And I think oftentimes people say, well, I've been working here for 30 years. But where did you live in the 30 years that you worked here, right?
Yeah,
Did you,
you just work here.
right? And working here means working here. Living here means living here. Being a native here means being a native here. I don't know. I think we got to do a better job of questioning the validity of the statements that people present to us.
Mm.
It's not enough for the chief of police who's currently retiring to say, well, I worked alongside of them, but were they living here while you worked alongside of them? Or did they drive in every day and drive out every night?
Yeah. Yeah, like you said, it's a difference between working here and actually living here. Because like I said, they talking. I was seeing people make these comments when they went up there to talk. They was like somebody who understands the city. Does he truly understand the city? Because I mean, I can't tell. You know, and I want to
My,
question
and
him.
my
How do you understand the city?
my thing is this: I'm not here for who's this or that. I'm not here for any of that. I'm here about the best of the best. When you start talking about Beaumont, you raise my senses. My little antennas go up. I want the best of the best of the best. I want the top of the line. I want the cream of the crop. I don't want to, I, what I don't want to do is start off with somebody that we got to explain or make excuses or try to justify previous actions. I'd rather deal with somebody I don't know than to deal with somebody I halfway know when I don't have to do that. Why would I want to do that?
Hmm.
You know
Yeah,
what I mean? We could
I mean
start
that's
up from scratch or we could start up from a past history that we already have. I mean, what are we doing? Are we hiring a brand new police chief? Are we hiring a past officer with previous history that we supposed to ignore? I mean,
mhm,
and
mhm.
I mean, we got a lot of questions that got to be answered.
No, Ray Garcia. We're talking about the new police chief in Beaumont, Texas. Um, did you have a favorite?
I sorta did.
You
I sorta did. I
you
did
started
I
it.
never mentioned it though. You've never seen me mention it once, have you?
Nope, I have not.
And all I did was speak out against the things I did not want. I did not speak for what I did want because I did not want to sway anything one way or the other.
Mm,
I did
okay.
I did have a favorite. And
Yeah.
after the recommendation, my favorite was not the one that was chosen, right?
Hmm.
But
Yeah.
however, our city manager I trust. We picked him, we hired him. Our city council, for the most part, I trust. They
Mm,
did not go with the recommendation, and that's fine as well. But I did say this in my speech today. I said, we want what's best for Beaumont. And if y'all don't like the group that y'all have, then get a new group.
mm.
Um, I stand by that. If you do not like the group that you have, get a new group.
Now, I did hear that Price. Um, I I've heard that a lot of officers did like him. He was very likable. It was a crowd of officers gravitating around him on a meet and greet, and it seemed like he was the favorite. That's all I'm gonna say. Uh, Now, when I was there, I did like the way what was her name, Kyra Hope.
Mhm. That's
I
right.
I I like the way she spoke.
I did too. I did too.
And for some reason, I was like, I can envision her being the police chief. I think that would have been a good look for Beaumont. I'm gonna be honest. I thought
Me
that would
too.
have been a good look.
Now that we're delving into it, I mean, you said it, and I support that sentiment.
Hmm.
However, that was not the recommendation. And I
Nope.
would have rolled with the recommendation of our city manager because it wasn't for me to create dissension. What my objective was to bring attention to things that I don't think would have been acceptable or becoming of a police chief, given what Beaumont wants to stand for and represent as far as the message that we want to send. If somebody's going to stand in direct opposition of what we're trying to build and grow, then that's not the person.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, Seeing the remarks, I've seen a lot of people surprised of some of the council members' picks. I don't know why they were surprised, but a lot of people were surprised. A lot of our people were surprised by a few picks from some people. And I don't know if that's gonna affect that person when they run for election, I think next year. But like I was saying in the
Can you
previous
be more specific? Can you be more
I
specific?
could I could be Pacific. Roy West. A lot of people was upset with Roy West and his decision. A lot of people were really. I mean, that's what they really was trying to see. Like, where was he gonna decide? Like, as far as go with, because his decision was gonna decide a lot of factors for people on how they really felt about him. Does he just takes pictures? Is he a photo op type of guy? And what I'm saying, behind closed doors, or his agenda is somewhere else. But does he just know how to get the black vote by doing all this? And I think a lot of people were surprised. Some people already kind of predicted it. But I'm kind of curious to see when he shows up in an event of minority of color, how will he be accepted? Because of his decisions and his actions today. But like I said to one person, hey,
Okay.
if you want to change, you got to go out and vote. You got to vote if you want to get these people out. Y'all can't just be saying, how y'all don't like this and that, and your vote doesn't count. In local elections, your vote does matter. It is very important to go out there and vote. But I mean, I ain't gonna say I was shocked or not. It was I ain't gonna lie, I like Roy West. I liked him. But the decision that he made, it kind of like, it's like a reality check. It's like, okay, yeah, hey, it is what it is. But
I
I want to
think
see.
I think for me, I think a lot of people ride on relationships personally, right?
Hmm.
Some of his business, it's not personal,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm.
I love Roy West as a person. You know,
Yeah.
I love the things that he tried to do as far as going out and participating and being a part of the community, and all of that's fine. And I'm not going to take that from him. I think that at some point we do have to stand up and be accountable for things when tough decisions arise, right? And it's not personal, it's business. This police chief position matters for young people, it matters for old people, it matters for incoming Beaumontians, it matters for outgoing Beaumontians, it matters for all parts of Beaumont. So I got to put my personal feelings aside, and I've got to operate in a capacity that says, what do we want the climate and the culture of BPD to look like? And the person that we elect is ultimately gonna reflect that in their captains, in their sergeants, in the associate chiefs, and other people that have higher ranking officers in the police department, right?
Hmm.
The culture that have been established in the Beaumont Police Department have been the way that it has been because of who's leading it. We have an opportunity right now to say we can't police the police, right? I don't care how many citizens auxiliary boards and this and that and blah blah. When you elect or police chiefs, police people finish the police part, they become police and they policing you.
Hmm.
The person that's over that is the person that's ultimately gonna decide promotions and all of these things. It matters the difference who you have at the head, because that head is gonna elect captains or decide who gonna get promotions and captains and sergeants and all of these people. Well, if you sprinkle in people that are different or new or have a different objective, it's gonna change the climate and the culture of the department without having to say, oh, I'm removing so and so. But if certain people get hired and certain people get promoted and all of these different things, well then now the climate is changing, but it's starting with the head, because the head is the one that's gonna promote these people to be. I think we gotta think about this realistically. And I
Yeah.
don't think that we've done that.
Yeah.
It
I always.
really does matter who's leading the charge, because there are the people that are gonna promote from within. And we don't need to be promoting from within people that are not good. If we get a new leader, a new figurehead, and the new figurehead say, oh, I'm only gonna promote people that I can depend on, that's gonna be honest and truthful and do this and do that. Well, then now we know all of that matters. Right now, I don't think if we got more the same, then they wouldn't think that it matters.
Yeah. And you know what? I always hear that it's not a bunch of diversity in BPD. A lot of a lot of people that I know of color have tried to apply for these positions that have been qualified. That's probably came from the sheriff office or whoever the case may be, and they talked about how their applications is getting denied and all that, and the diversity in BPD is really not there. And like you said, when we put this person at the top, that is not going to follow that good boy system and has his clique that he wants to bring up and promote to sergeants, lieutenants, and captains and stuff like that. You are changing the culture because it's no favoritisms. It's just I'm finna pick the best candidate that I can trust to do his job, not because I stay around the corner from him or because his kids and my kids go to the same school and his wife and my wife are friends. But
I
you're
mean,
going
we
by the
heard a
person that
lot
can
of
do the job.
sentiments today that I've been with them for years, or I know
I've
them, or
seen
we
that.
live
Yeah,
next to them, and that's fine, and I'm not gonna discount that. But when you're representing a citizenry of people that are diverse, a diverse population, it's not about how he treat you and the group that y'all know. It's about how they're gonna treat the people that they don't know. And 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 while I don't want to bring this up, I want to steer away from this as much as I possibly can. When somebody is raised up a certain way or under certain principles and guidelines, and they say, oh, I was raised not to like black and brown people, you
yeah,
really can't expect them to be different than they were raised up to be.
If the
Sure,
if
they
the
can
okay.
change. Sure, people can get saved. Sure, people can. I got to pass. I'm not the one to pass judgment or any of that. I'm not here for that. But what I will say is this: when your background becomes a pattern of behavior or continued behavior from 2010 to 2024, we can still look back from the past to the present and articulate things that you're doing currently today. Then we can't excuse that. We can't. And I don't. I'm glad that it didn't go. We can't make excuses. We just can't do that. That's if we need to get some new people, then we need to get some new people. But we should not be excusing current people and creating jargon to let them get by. I
You know
mean,
what? I was surprised that he was the only candidate from this area.
I was thinking that too. I was like, you can't tell me that there are not. So nobody else that's
Mhm.
at the police department for some time wants to be the police chief. And then I started thinking, why is that?
Yeah. That's why I was thinking, like, what's going on here? I mean, and I knew that was gonna come into play as far as like he's from this area, he knows this city. I'm like, he ain't from this area. He grow
And
up out
even
here?
if
Like,
you are, the city have had some discrepancies and things that we're trying to address. We don't want, and we really don't want to address that with more of what we've already seen. We want to address that really with a new perspective and a new ideology and something that we can improve and build and grow. I don't care if they're from Beaumont, but I would not like to lead out with someone that has any baggage. That's not, if
that's
I have a choice and we got an option to choose from a group of people, I mean, that's not my best choice.
yeah, police captain, if you I mean, police chief, if you want to make a change, I you do not need to have any clouds over your head, especially in the condition that Beaumont is in right now, trying to make a change, trying to improve from crime. I think I think
I
you need to
mean,
have
and
a
if you
clean
have
sheet.
leaders that ran on the premise of, oh, crime is bad, and I'm going to clean up crime in one fell sweep, and when you elect me, crime is going to be eradicated. Well, then now I got questions because crime is not eradicated, and crime is in fact on the rise. And all the things that you said that you were going to do, I mean, we had a previous mayor and council. That crime has not been eradicated. In fact, crime is, if we pulled up the numbers, which I don't know if you have, but we've got to question some of these people who ran on cleaning up crime, and crime is in fact increased.
Yeah.
Now, I don't want to point any fingers. However, we have people that ran on cleaning up crime. Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna just sit that, I'm gonna let that sizzle in your spirit tonight.
We did. That was a selling point for a lot of people as far as cleaning up crime and doing this and making change and commitment and stuff like that. And we really haven't seen that. Crime has gotten worse. Um, eh, uh, I forgot his name. What's the councilman from Ward 4?
Shall we?
Yeah, what's his? What's no? What I know because I want.
Shall we?
Huh?
Shall we?
Shall Wiggins.
I say, shall we?
Yeah, no.
Is that where we're going? Shall we?
No, I just want to know. I want this name because I like how he stood on business. I like what he was talking about, and he kind of held it down as far as when he was talking about Neil, and he's saying Neil was saying like how reducing crime is not really a police officer's job, and I didn't really understand why. I thought that was a police officer's job was to help reduce crime. To do your ain't that isn't that your job to help reduce crime as a police officer? So Mr. Neal, who really doesn't have any competition when it comes to every year, I mean every other year with the election and stuff like that. it, I was like, who's running against this guy to because I was I was like
What
I,
you said? I need you to say it one more time
I was
for the
like, who
people in the back.
I just didn't understand that comment. Like, I mean, if you're a police officer, what do you do? I mean, that you want to help reduce crime. You patrol your neighborhood. You watch out. You try to be, cautious of the things that are going on in your environment, so you can help reduce crime, so the criminals can see you. I mean, you don't just wait for somebody to commit a crime and then go arrest them. I don't think that's the police officer job to wait for crime to happen and then arrest. I think you want to try to prevent by being around and being like, on point in your whatever in your community. So I was kind of confused of why he was saying that. And I was like, damn, he getting ate up right now. But like I said, he don't run against nobody in his ward. So he kind of had, I think he didn't run against nobody last time. So he had like a free ride. So
I
it
think,
was
and
just mind
oftentimes,
boggling.
what we have to be found doing as a community and as citizens is questioning the audacity of people that are sitting in these seats. So the audacity of you to feel like you shouldn't have to address these issues, or you shouldn't have to have a statement, or the statements that you make them with the arrogance and the audacity of not having a propensity to the constituents. That is a problem. And I mean, I think the onus is on us as the constituents to make sure that we are electing candidates that have our best interests at heart. And when we do not do that, then we are not doing our due diligence. Every election, Floyd, you can admit, you see me out here saying you have a duty, you have a right, you have a responsibility. I don't want to hear your mouth if you are not out here voting. And I think oftentimes people do not show up to the polls and they're waiting until something bad happens. It shouldn't be when something bad happens. We've got to have a metric system by which we are grading these people that are in office about their performance. And when you do not perform up to the level of the standard, then we are going to eradicate you. I used to say this on Tony Renfro's show a lot. Heads will roll. Well, they didn't like that. But I feel like we come to a point where heads need to roll. It's not about just running for office and getting elected to seats and nobody's calling you to question. Nobody's evaluating your performance. Nobody's asking you, what have you done and how have you performed? And there's no grading system and there's no qualitative and quantitative ways to uh, 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 adjust what your performance have been. We need to be able to adjust we need to be able to find out what is your performance level looking like? Are we happy with your performance? And how are we going to get you out if we
Mhm.
do not like you?
Yeah, exactly.
And that goes for me
Yeah, but I mean,
and
like I said,
anybody else.
but you are very active when it comes to at these voting polls, standing. You're very at the forefront, and it's just like I said, it's a shame that our people don't get out to vote more because Beaumont, as far as the percentage wise, I mean, we up there. It's like damn near 50% as far as African American, and we have the power to really kind of change what we want, especially the people that's complaining.
And I keep on telling these people, by Beaumont being a majority minority, it does us no good to complain if we're not going to show up. Our only duty, responsibility, and activity to be finding out what these candidates represent, what do they stand for, and how can we grade them. Even if we elect them and they don't do what they say they're going to do, we need to hold you accountable. I've been saying
Yeah.
that since Knowledge is Power Podcast Live over 10 years. Let me say this: no one person can do this alone. If you don't perform at the level that we expect your performance to be, we will get rid of you. You can be removed. And if they know that, then they will be performing to the level. And because we have not stood by that, they are getting by. Even
Mhm.
up to today with the police chief. In a minority majority city, we shouldn't be wondering who our chief gonna be, and are they gonna represent us, and are they gonna be a racist, and that should not even be a question. You should know better before you even present the candidates that this is unacceptable. The city, the council, the mayor, and everybody concerned is going to be against that.
Mhm.
We should have the best of the best, and we should only have candidates that qualify under the credentials that we want them to be at. And because we are who we are, if we stood on business like we say that we stand on business, these people wouldn't even be an option.
Mhm.
Ain't that right?
Yeah, I seen people make an excuse talking about his one of the candidates that was accused of racism and stuff, that the city gave 65K to the victim because they didn't just the excuses that I was seeing made, that they didn't want to go into a money thing, so they paid the victim 65K to as far as to get rid of the situation or get the situation behind them. And I'm like, damn, is that really the case? Like, people
Let us
for their
talk about this
candidate.
in detail. Is that for real? I
That's what
mean, you from North End, Florida. You is
I
North End, Florida. Is
I
you
was just
not?
yeah, I was just saying how people make the excuses for their candidate. They will go out their way to make an excuse for their candidate why situations happen. And I was just seeing, and I had a conversation with a certain person, and we were saying how we need to start riding for our people, like how they was riding for their candidate. Because, like I said, we don't show up at the polls and back the people that we really want. We just talk about it, but when it comes down to it, we don't really show up for the cause.
Let me
And
say this. I get tired. I get distressed. I have backed candidates that have won, and I have backed candidates that have lost. But I have been true to my convictions. Oftentimes, people don't even show up. You gotta call them. You gotta text them. You gotta bait them. You gotta sell. You gotta give away something. I shouldn't have to do that. This is your city. You are concerned about your group, your people, your family. I shouldn't have to do that. I should be able to say, you know what? There's an election. I need you to do your due diligence. If you don't have the information that you need, seek out somebody that can help you find the information that you need and make an informed decision. And for this particular candidate, I wasn't necessarily for or against, but I wanted people to know what the history was. And then when you look at the history of Beaumont, and then when you look at the current climate of the political relations between the constituents and BPD, do you want to start off with a new police chief that have any type of scandal, baggage, history, bad
Mhm,
energy? What can we do? Right? The question is, what can we do to improve Beaumont? What can we do to improve BPD? Take me, take the racism, take all of it out. Take all that, put it on the side.
mhm.
What should we do to set the tone and the precedent with a new police chief in Beaumont? Do you think the best that we can do is to start off with some negativity?
Yes. I think, to be honest with you, I think if we would have hired that particular candidate, this city, it would have been a joke to me. It would have been laughable. We talk about change, we talk about all this stuff, and then we hire a police chief with this
What did
cloud
you
over
hear?
his shoulder.
Did you hear my speech at council today? I mean, it ain't about me. Take me out. It's about improving Beaumont. Everybody up there, they led the charge on improving Beaumont and building Beaumont and a better Beaumont. Baby, if they would have put that man up there, I mean, what are you saying to your constituents?
Mhm. Yep. I know what they're saying. I know what they're saying. As far as that, like I said, I never the candidates. I only from what I seen Wednesday when they made the speech and that 3-minute speech and the meet and greets, and that was as far as I knew about the candidates. Now, as far as all the candidates, it was only one candidate that had this cloud over his head, and I was like, if Beaumont wanted to make change, if they want to talk and do all this preaching about making change and starting new, you can't hire somebody like that. If you did, then all that talking right there, that I'm not trying to cuss or whatever, but it's a joke. How can we trust the city of Beaumont if you're electing people or you're hiring people with this type of cloud over their head? True or not, it's still a cloud over their head. None of these other candidates didn't have it.
That's my
So,
point. That was my point. We don't need any scandal, debacle, travesty, trauma, all of these things. Do what's best for Beaumont. I just wanted Beaumont to be found on the right side of history. Like if your objective is to do these things, then you don't need nobody standing in direct opposition of what y'all trying to promote. You need somebody that's gonna stand for what we trying to do. right?
Right,
And
Miss Lily.
I also think that other candidates that are running for office and have run for office, we need to be holding these candidates accountable for their actions and their words, right? Because I've
Mhm.
been seeing a lot of foolishness on Facebook with this police chief stuff. Have you been seeing it?
I seen it.
Are you seeing it?
I seen it. I seen it from a lot of people that a lot of uh
Sometimes I feel like they took the shit personal when it wasn't personal, it was business. If you had a personal issue or whatever you had going on, you should have dealt with that with the person. That
yeah.
ain't had nothing to do with the police chief for the whole city of Beaumont. It's over 120,000 constituents in this city of Beaumont. Don't bring your personal foolishness and bullshit up to this line while we trying to find the best police chief that we can find.
Miss Lillian Brown said Roy West really surprised me.
Really? Did he, ma'am?
Roy, I
Maybe
think
she can elaborate on that because I'd like
Roy
to
West
elaborate on that with some people.
Roy West surprised a lot of people. He didn't really surprise me, but
Well, why's
to,
that, Floyd? Can you expound on that?
because the Beaumont Police Department backed Roy West when he was voting, when he was running for election. The Beaumont Police did. He said they backed him. So I would think, why
But
would
wait a minute. I got a question. Let me stop. Let me stop you. I need to stop you right now because you know me, right? I need to have a stop right here. The
work stop?
Beaumont police backed Roy West under the pretense of what?
I'm not sure what the pretense was, but he was up there making a little video with Beaumont Police behind him
But it
and
was
talking about
about
how that.
stopping crime. No, hold up, hold up. We know what the pretense was. It was lowering crime, eradicating crime, stopping crime. They was gonna magically wave a wand, and crime was gonna go away. Now, I want to ask you a question.
Yeah.
You, it's your podcast. What is do we have anybody tonight that can come up with the crime statistics currently for the city of
Uh,
Beaumont?
hopefully somebody can. I seen it on Facebook. Somebody was making a post about the crime rate has it went up, and he was talking about, do you want
And I'ma
me to
just shut up
provide
and wait for y'all to figure
statistics?
that out.
But yeah, and why they figure it out, I'm gonna tell you why I wasn't surprised. Like I said, because the Beaumont Police Department, he made a video how they was backing him, and I think for that, I don't think he was going to go against him because it was somebody within the Beaumont Police Department that was running for captain. So it was, it's kind of like a hand in hand thing, like he's not finna go against. It's like the good old boy system. Y'all back me, so I'm finna back him, a local candidate from Beaumont and stuff
Floyd,
like
did
that.
you just say that out loud, darling?
Yeah, because I don't care.
Did
I,
you just say that out loud?
hey,
Did North and Floyd just say that out loud?
I mean, that's
Let
what
me
I
just say
see.
this. I'm so glad that y'all got LaDonna Sherwood Haley on here tonight, but I just want to make sure that I heard you loud and clear.
Mhm. Yeah,
What
it
you
was
say?
hand in hand, the good boy system. You wash my back, I wash yours. So yes, y'all back me. So I'm finna back y'all candidate, the local candidate. And I would have been surprised if he went against that. That's what would have surprised me if he would have went with Price and Hope and even the other candidate. That would have surprised me. So I wasn't surprised. I would have been surprised if he would have did the right thing or whatever. But I wasn't surprised. He didn't surprise me. And I like Roy West. I'm cool with him and stuff like that. But I wasn't surprised, and I know how the game go. You know what I'm saying? I know what it is. At the end of the day, I still know what it is. Unfortunately,
I
and
think
I
that at
can't.
this particular point, we can move past that. But I am glad that you guys brought that up and it didn't come from me because I feel like oftentimes I'm viewed as a militant and a rabble rouser and all of these other different things that I did not have to say today on the show. But I will say this.
Yeah.
I want to say this. Oftentimes people fall for the okey doke, and it is a travesty, a sham, and a
Yeah.
mockery because they expect certain things that are not to be expected. It does me good. It does my heart good to say you didn't expect more any more than what you got. So good for you. But I will say this. We have got to do a better job of finding elected officials that align with our morals, our principles, and our values. And we have got to be found holding people accountable once they become in office. We cannot fall for any and everything. Every time that somebody says, "Oh, I got your back and I'm here for you," and all of these different things, and they over here smiling and grinning and laughing and taking pictures and all that's cute and well and fine and good, but that have nothing to do that when the rubber meets the road,
Hmm.
we need people that are able to stand up and go against the grain and do what's right and proper and be found on the right side of history, which is what I said today at council. I'm
Well,
not here for any foolishness. I'm just here for what is best for Beaumont. You said, how can we improve Beaumont? I am a citizen that prides themselves
yes.
on being found, figuring out what I could do. If BPD want me on the board, I want to be on it. If
What's the
BPD want me to figure out what I can do to support them or help them or improve the condition of what they got going on, I am on board. If BPD needs me to help locate local minority candidates, I am on board. If BPD, I am here to better Beaumont. I've been in Beaumont all the days of my life, and I will probably be here until
yes.
they lower me down. I am okay with that. But what I am not okay with is kowtowing to foolishness. I will not do it. I will not be found shucking and jiving on your platform or nowhere else. I'm worried about what's best for Beaumont, and that's what I'm going to do.
Yeah. And you know what? Somebody was telling me about a particular person, very popular on Facebook, and they backed their candidate. They didn't have no problem backing their candidate, and I was like, look, man, at the end of the day, it might be fun and games on social media, but they they go back their candidate and they ain't scared. You know what I'm saying? Regardless of how you feel, and it is what it is.
This business
Sometimes,
that I'm sitting at right now, and this is my friend. This is my friend. This is my comrade. This is my compadre. And I could be at my place, but I'm not. I'm sitting here for a reason. The park on call to have been the site of foolishness with BPD. I'm
mm,
not happy about that.
yes, I've been
If
hearing
they
about
were
that.
doing the wrong thing, then they were doing the wrong thing. But if they doing the right thing, then you should give props what props is due. You should give respect what respect is due. You should give honor to whom honor is due. These people have been targeted, and it is not right. And I feel like BPD owes an apology to this place for some of the things that they have did and
Um,
said and caused and drama and trauma and things that go unnoticed that I ain't with it. I am not with it. I could not. Let me say this. I'm a small business owner. I own a nightclub too, but it happens to be older people. But I'm not in that demographic. I fall in this demographic of people of this business owner. I'm here for a reason. And I support DeAndre Moore in the park. And I don't appreciate some of the things that have happened and gone by and gone unnoticed and gone unannounced and gone and they have not apologized and they have not acknowledged and they have set their sights on, and I don't appreciate that one bit. Not when you are trying to create jobs and improve nightlife and increase the quality of life in Beaumont. I ain't with it.
mm,
So now, with that being said, this police chief and this job that's open, we got to address all the wrongs that have been wronged. We cannot sweep things under the rug because that's not going to help us. So today, tonight, tomorrow, and next week, I hope the city council, the city manager, the mayor, and all the people that may be watching, we see you, and I hope you see us too.
now this particular place, it used to be Luke's, right?
That is correct.
I don't never remember Luke's having these type of issues with
Oh,
Beaumont
baby,
Police
you would
Department.
never remember Luke's having them type of issues, honey. You would. That would not be. That would. Are you for real right now?
Because I've been to Luke's a
You
few
know what? I'm
times.
gonna start calling you North End Florida for real, cause I see you exercising the North End in you, baby. I
I'm
see
just saying,
you.
I've been to Luke's a few times and it got rowdy, and I don't never see no police involved. But for some reason, now the police is just really kind of cracking down. So I see what you're saying as far
Oh
as
no,
the
and they pay
discrimination.
thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars in security and police
Mhm.
adulation to make sure that they have what they need, and they shouldn't have to do that. It's unfortunate, really.
One, to be honest with you, as far as the park is really one of the highlights of Beaumont as far as nightlife, if you want to consider it. I don't even think they had a establishment as far as uh what I'm saying, as far as our people like the park, to be honest with you. I think
I
what
think
the
that
park
they're
is, yeah.
doing the best that they can to mitigate whatever the crowd may be. And you can't claim or coerce or corral the people that come to an establishment, but to actually target the business and the business owners and their parents, elder people, that's unacceptable. Now, if you're
Yeah.
not happy with what happens outside this, that's one thing. But inside of here, they are taxpaying business owners of Beaumont. That
Mhm.
matters. You know, all of these things matter. And I mean, we got to be real and honest about what is happening in and around the city of Beaumont. I don't care if it be me. If they doing the right thing, they doing the right thing. If they doing the wrong thing, they doing the wrong thing. And but if they doing the right thing, then you need to acknowledge that. The city of Beaumont, BPD in particular, owes these people an apology for how they have treated them and what they have been doing. It is unacceptable. And I'm saying it today, right
Mhm.
now, as a fellow nightlife business owner.
Yeah.
I said
But
what I said.
now, and to be honest with you, I think that's why we definitely need change, because people are talking about, this person been here 20, 30 years. He know, well, if he knows that, then to be honest with you, we're just gonna expect the same thing.
And there
I
are
don't
things
see
that could
I
have
don't
been changed. You're right. Because when a
exactly.
new business owner came in, you could have came in and said, we're gonna help you. This is what BPD is gonna do to undergird you, to support you, to make sure that you thrive and build and grow. But they didn't do that. They came in with negativity and all kinds of undermined, tricky, underhanded foolishness that they could do instead of finding ways to build and grow.
Mhm. Michael Spacani, my bad if I said your name wrong. He said homeless is an issue, which in turn, unfortunately, creates more crime. I don't know if our homeless people out here are really a major cause to crime in this area. To be honest with you, because I've been out there and I fed the homeless a few times. I talked to the homeless, and they're really not out there robbing and doing all this
They
type of
just
stuff. To be honest,
homeless. That is not. Listen, they may have some mischievous things that they embark on as a part
yeah,
of being what they have going on.
uh huh,
But police have investigators and people that handle that and whatever they do. That's what we pay them to do.
hmm,
That's what we pay them to do.
yeah,
Mitigate, assess, and arbitrate in between what needs to be happening. They need to get together with whoever's handling the homeless population and get them the help that they need. That's not our objective here tonight, right?
yes. Okay, we got another question from Miss Lilia Brown. What's next with the picking a chief? What's the
Well,
next
I
step?
don't know. Are they going to get a new group? Because, you know, I did suggest that tonight in my meeting. At the meeting, I was there.
So you think they should get a new group, a whole
I
new
mean, I
four or
don't
five
care if they
people?
get a new group or not, but if they're not happy with the group they got, they should get a new group.
Yeah,
They're
I
not
mean,
limited in their selection. Go find the best.
yeah, and like I said too, like
Go
I
get
mean,
them.
one candidate from this area, I didn't like that. I didn't like that at all.
Yeah,
You
go
know,
get them. Go get them. Go get somebody that's going to fill the criteria and be what everybody can agree on. Go get them. Go find them.
yeah,
Or if you're local and we need you, then we need you. Your call, we are putting in a call. Look, like that man did with that head, the bat signal is up. Come on down.
yes,
Come on
yeah,
down. We want to see you.
exactly. What Aaron said. Aaron said all the other candidates have written plans that would affect change, and people don't care because they're not from here.
Well, that's unfortunate.
Yeah,
That's unfortunate because I mean we got to be found doing what's right and proper for the community, and I always want to be found on the right side of history. As I said in my comments today at the city council, I don't care if they're from Beaumont or outside of Beaumont or whatever. I'm a Beaumontian that want what's best for Beaumont. I don't care where they get them from. It don't matter to me. Let's
yep.
do what's right and proper. And
Okay,
after
we
they
got
do that, they didn't got no problems out of me. They don't have to see my black face or listen to my black ass mouth. I'm gonna be quiet somewhere, promoting and undergirding and supporting whatever I gotta do. I'm gonna be doing that.
okay. James Todd seems to be calling out some people. We say Phil
Uh oh.
Shaw, Getz, and Neil cater to the money holders in the city. for votes. It's not about the good of Beaumont.
Oh well, then there's
Okay.
that.
Okay, James Todd. Hey,
Well, then
I've
there's
been here.
that.
I've heard that a few cater to the money and stuff like that, and that's usually unfortunate, and that happens to the unfortunate soft candidates, the soft people on council that's easily bought out and stuff like that. And I made a post that I say whoever the candidate is that gets elected, somebody got their pockets fat. But
Let me say this, and that shouldn't even be consideration. Like for me, you know what we want Beaumont to stand for. Everybody in Beaumont is like, oh, Beaumont is an oil and gas town. Oh,
Mhm.
Beaumont's got money. Oh, Beaumont's got real estate. Oh, Beaumont's on the water. Oh, we need to be doing this. Oh, we need to be doing that. Everybody got an idea about Beaumont. Don't you think that we should start with the crime and the police department and people that is responding? We should start there in
Mm.
order to lure businesses and constituents and people and whoever, whatever. We need to start with the police, baby. We need to start right here. That's why this matters to me most. Everybody wants the best for Beaumont. Even the deep pockets, they want what's best for Beaumont. They should not want Beaumont to be looking like a fool out here in these streets. They
Mhm.
should want Beaumont to have the best candidate that Beaumont can possibly have so that they can in turn take their money and donate it or invest it into things that is going to matter in Beaumont to build Beaumont. That's what we need to be doing. They
Exactly.
should want the same thing. I can't see them not wanting that.
I think they want that, but I think they just want their people in there too. And I think that's
Well,
what
then
kind of
that's unfortunate.
I think
That's
that's what
unfortunate.
happened.
And at some point, it's got to get bigger than us. It's bigger
Now,
than me. It's bigger than me. It's bigger
now,
than you. It's bigger than them. It's bigger than that.
now, if they would have selected Price or Hope or the other candidate from LA, I wonder
Well, the
if
man said, the prior police chief said they was gonna get skint up. Did you hear that in the meeting?
who what happened?
Oh yeah, you missed that.
Who gonna get skint up?
You didn't hear that?
I didn't hear it. I missed that. I missed
Baby,
that.
you got
I'm
to
gonna have
go
to
back
watch
and
that.
watch it. I was sitting there and I said, oh well, that's a hell of a choice of language. He said they gonna get skinned up. I said, well then now we gotta worry about getting skinned if we don't, if the right person, if the person y'all don't think. I was confused as hell. I digress, but you need to look at that part. He said they gonna get skint up.
Hmm.
I heard it loud and clear. People chime in. Did y'all hear the man say they was gonna get skint up if they didn't, if they was not from here?
Hmm.
I'm gonna be quiet.
Uh, Miss Brown said who the mayor went with. The mayor went with he went with Pluckett or whatever. Phil Shaw, he tried to make amends and he said Price was his second candidate. I think he tried to save grace. I think he tried to he didn't want to jump off the boat. He was like, you know what? Let me try to keep these people on my side and say, I want him. And then he also said he was a preacher himself. Price was a preacher also, and that's why he even liked them even more. And I was like, oh, okay.
I'm on the podcast.
Your
Let me
voice
tell
got
you something. Let me tell you something.
damn. We
It
getting
was
skint up.
a previous police chief, and Isaac was there. Did you not hear that man say they gonna get
Shout out to
skint
Isaac.
up?
What up, Isaac?
I heard the man. I was sitting in
Man,
the
I'm,
second,
I'm gonna have
third
to.
row.
I'm gonna go back and watch that. I got to. I'm gonna clip it and I'm gonna play it for people
You
who
gonna
didn't
have
see it.
to because I was sitting there thinking, oh my, what a choice of language.
Damn.
But then there's that.
Ex police captain.
I think he might have was a former police chief.
Oh man.
I did correct me. Somebody correct the record for me because I don't want to say the wrong thing. I want to make sure that I get the information correct. But I sat there and listened to somebody talk about if they came from outside, they was gonna get skint up.
That's crazy. But I mean, it's good old Southeast Texas, and I think his true feelings was just coming out. Like a lot of them, they get so frustrated, and they true feelings come out. They
I
try to
wonder
hide
what
it.
they gonna do today, baby. I may have to get some extra security.
Yeah, but yeah,
You
you
too,
don't want
North
to.
End Floyd. You better be ready, baby.
Ain't nobody trying to get skint up. So, I mean, a lot of people getting their coattail put to the fire on this on the selections and stuff. But like I said, man, people got to go out and vote. You got to take it serious. I was talking to one of the homies today, and he was talking about because I went live and he was telling me that our people is a Friday, and he said our people want to turn up on Friday, and they want to worry about stuff on a Monday and a Tuesday or whatever. And I say that's the problem. You can't. You gotta put some things in perspective. You know what I'm saying? If you want to make change, just because it's the weekend don't mean that you put change to the side. To turn up and stuff like that. If you
And
really want,
I think we could go a step further than that. It's not about if it's on the weekend. It's about if they helped you, or if you know them, or if they've done something nice for you in the past, or if somebody else have hurt your feelings. It's a bunch of things that we have to put to the side. It ain't just if it's on a Friday. It's some people out here saying, "Oh well, this person helped me, or this person gave me," and they might have did. But is that better for the greater good? Was that just good for you? Because it
yeah,
don't do you no good to benefit LaDonna Sherwood, and I can't develop the whole Beaumont. So you
mhm,
might have been nice to me, but do you care about the other Negroes in Beaumont? Because I'm worried about
mhm,
them too.
yeah, and
You
and
know,
and and I tell people all the time. People like they say, "Where you live at North End?" I don't live in the North End. I just care about the North End. I was born and raised there, and it's just a pride thing. I want to see my community. It's still my community. I want to see them doing great. I want to see crime reduced. I want to see people take pride in what they're from in a positive way. And like I said, the only way we do that is to vote the people in there that we want to make a difference, or go up there and tell them how we really feel. Because if they don't know, how are they gonna? They can't read minds. So I
well,
mean, if
and
you,
I always say this: you only got two powers. Where you vote and where you spend your dollars. I've been saying it for 10 years. Who you
Mhm,
elect and who you spend your money with, and that's what they respect. If you
mhm,
elect them, then you can talk to them. If you ain't elect them, then you ain't got nothing to say. If you don't spend no money with them, then they ain't listening to you. All
mhm,
right? That's
mhm.
the two powers you got, where you spend your dollars and who you elect. And we got to be found finding the brightest, best, most articulate, genuine, productive people that we can find that are going to be representing your needs, your thoughts, and your desires. And if you don't do that, then hey, I'm wasting my time and you wasting yours. It's been a pleasure to be on this podcast tonight. And I am super excited about perhaps getting a whole new ticket for police chief. And so I'm excited that the council may be found doing what's right and proper.
I think the guy name that said that was Chief Coffin. He's Chief Coffin. I think that was his name. That said, as far as getting skint up. So this was a police chief. So if he
Well,
had,
there you
so
go. So then I'm just saying, I know I heard it, and I want to say he was a police chief. So I knew that part. I thought I had right.
yeah. So if he was a police chief, just imagine what was going on in his jurisdiction. If he was thinking like that and talking like that. So, but I know you are at the park. You know what I'm saying? I
And I
wish
came here for a
you
specific
you,
purpose
you did.
because I support them. And I'm proud with what this young brother is trying to do. And I'm proud with the things that they're trying to step forth in Beaumont. And I'm proud to be a part of this community. And I am a Beaumont resident and native. I grew up here. I'm born and raised here. Can't nobody run me off, baby. I'm
Hmm.
gonna be right over here looking around. Whether I'm in the Pale Orchard side or the North End, you can find me in the streets.
Yeah, and like I said, you're a front soldier, so you ain't hiding. You always in the forefront. You go speak your mind, and that's one thing that I respect about you, because you go speak it, and you go speak it well. So,
Okay, I'm gonna be true to my convictions. I don't think everybody got a
'Cause
personal constitution, but everybody ought to develop one. And that means something that you true to that can't nobody take you off of, and they can't take me off of mine.
when you speaking, I was looking at their face, and it was like, God damn, you
Yeah,
know
yeah,
what
yeah. Because you know what, you know what, I get in the middle of that council and I tell them, I'm a whole, I got a charge for each and every one of you.
I'm saying?
When we elected you, we held you to a charge, baby. And
Yep.
that means if we just as soon as we elect you, we can unseat you.
Yeah. Facts.
Okay, heads will roll. You can do what you want to do if you want to, but the people that elected you, you supposed to represent them. And when you don't do it, We coming. Oh, we
Mm.
coming.
Shout out to
Whether we
Jeremy.
got to chip away at you little bit by little bit or all at one time, we on your ass. We got business.
Yeah, facts though. I appreciate you coming on, and I appreciate you doing it at the park for real though, because I know it could be a distraction. You know, it's a lot going on. It's usually lit, you know, and and the atmosphere is kind of enjoyable. So I was
But
glad
guess
that you
what
was
they
able.
did? They gave me the time and the space to do it, and I appreciate them for that too.
Yeah, much respect. I thought the homie was gonna come behind you or something like that while you was doing it, and he could have did a little cameo or something like that. But it's still all good. I'll get him on here one day.
And you gonna get him on here, don't worry.
I'm gonna get him on here one day for sure. I thank you for coming on, and I respect your time because it was a Friday and you've been busy today, and I'm humbled that you came on for sure.
I hate I didn't get on sooner because I mean I didn't have a,
It's
but we
good.
did it. We did it nonetheless.
We gonna work that out. It's gonna be way easier next time. So, um, probably gonna come back on whenever they make the decision, and we gonna talk about that.
Well, I'll be here. I'll be available.
That's a bet. All right, I'll see you then.
Thank you so much.
All right,
Good night.
y'all. So look, this was a quick podcast. I usually do the podcast for an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours or whatever and stuff like that. But I appreciate LaDonna and her time for coming on the show because you know what I'm saying it's a Friday. She at the park, she chilling, she doing her thing. I appreciate the people that commented, um, and voice their opinions and stuff like that. And we'll see what happens as far as them making a decision on police chief. Because be honest with you, this is a big thing. You know, this is a big thing as far as your communities. If you feel like the police has been doing you wrong, they have been harassing you, and all such things, a police chief is gonna matter. Because me personally, I think we need more diversity in the Beaumont Police Department. I ain't talking about with blacks. I'm talking about blacks, Mexicans, Asians, Indians, all kind of people. You know what I'm saying, to make up the police force and stuff like that. Black captains, Indian captains, whatever the case it is. I think we need more diversity when it comes to the Beaumont Police Department. I'm not saying the Beaumont Police Department is bad. I'm not saying that at all. I just say they need diversity, and I think change starts at the top. So hopefully they make the right decision. Yeah, I hope we don't get skint up. I hope I don't get skint up for voicing my opinions on my podcast, but I've been doing it for 5 years. So I mean, ain't nothing happened yet or whatever. And if they do got a problem, you know, it is what it is. I come with peace. But if you don't come with peace, then I will match it. Uh but we not talking about that. It was a couple more a couple more questions we was gonna dive into, but you know, we'll just discuss that on the next time. Uh Michael said it takes people to step up and fill those positions. Yes, it does. It takes a community to step up and as far as like to fight crime too. Uh I, I think the mindset of the black community needs to change as far as you want the type of community you want to raise your kids up in, you know, and stuff like that. So I think I think this is a start, and I think hopefully we select the right police chief to start that. And no, I don't think selecting a police chief is gonna really reduce the crime like that. It's gonna take like a team effort, and hopefully we could do that. So it was an exciting day. I wish I could have got up in there, but it was crowded. I went late, and also I want to thank LaDonna Sherwood for coming on. She's a very good speaker, very informative. She knows her thing or two. She does not back down. She is on the forefront when it comes to voting. And that's what I say, man. Voting is important. Voting is really fun. I don't know why we don't have a lot of people at the polls like that. Voting is fun, dog. You know, I ain't gonna lie to you. Now, when I was younger, when I was late teens, early 20s, yeah, okay. I was a little immature when it came to the voting thing. But when I started voting, man, it's your duty, man. Like you had your ancestors die for us to vote. And when the time comes, y'all just don't vote. And now look, I'm not blaming y'all because hey, you make your start when you make your start. You can make your start in November as far as voting. But when it comes to city elected seats, you want the people in there that's really gonna represent you. Now, this police chief thing, how the council members was deciding whatever ward you stay in, that council member voted for you. That council member represented you. Now, if that council member voted for the guy with racism, with that cloud over his head, and that racial stuff in his past, that council member voted for that guy, then that's your vote right there. So to be honest with you, man, if you feel you're not represented, and I don't care where you stay, I don't care if it's the West End, Northwest, South Park, Parachi, South End, North End, wherever the case may be, you need to get somebody in there that's gonna represent you. Because if you have kids, that shit is important. Excuse me, because I'm monetized. I'm not trying to get flagged, but it is very important, and you need to think about your kids and what kind of environment you want to raise them in. And having the proper council member and proper mayor up there to represent you matters, because if you live in a city, whatever city that is, that matters. You got to think about your kids and what kind of environment you want to raise them in. Do you want to raise them in a type of environment where your mayor, your police chief care about your community, your neighborhood? You need to step up. The crime rate is crazy. It's crazy. We top 50. We top 50 in America, dog. We number 3 in Texas. We're top 50 in America. She hit the nail on a lot of things, Mike. It takes going against the grain to make positive changes and happen. And that's in life too. You know what I'm saying? That's in life in general. If you want to do something positive in your life, bro, sometimes you gotta go against the grain. Sometimes you gotta be alone. If you care about your community, you must vote. And you must fight for what's right. Yes, because to be honest with you, where I stay at, we vote at Rogers Park. And when I go vote at Rogers Park, you know who is a lineup is, and like I said, I'm not trying to be racial, but it's a line of old white people. They out the door. They voting. They voting, and they happily voting. And that's what it takes, man. Our people, we got to start voting, man. We got to start. We need to start getting into politics. We need to start getting into the criminal justice field. We need to start getting into these type of fields, dog. We need to stop creating this stigma. You know what I'm saying? You want to create diversity, you got to go against the grain. Who do you want to protect and serve you? If you don't like a certain people protecting and serving you, then maybe you need to go jump in that field. All right. Stop depending on other people to make change for you. You got to make that for yourself. Yeah, for sure, for sure, for sure. For sure. Look, man, this the Kickback Man podcast. Is on YouTube live. If y'all on YouTube, y'all could go on there, y'all could tap in. It's on Facebook also. It's on Apple Podcasts, it's on stream, it's on Spotify and all that. But man, they've been tripping, man. I've been trying to get my stuff right on there, and for some reason it's not going on there. So right now, y'all can check this out on Facebook, and y'all can check this out on YouTube. Also, it's on LinkedIn. It's everywhere, to be honest with you. And next Friday, I ain't gonna be able to do the show. All right. I'm just gonna tell y'all that. I'm gonna be somewhere chilling, having fun, having a few drinks, having a blast, living life. But the week after, we tap it in. So I appreciate everybody that commented on the show, voiced their opinions. I appreciate LaDonna. And I'll see y'all when I see y'all, man. Y'all be safe. Y'all be blessed.